Plasma-Therm system 7 Batchtop RIU system. The system facilities are hooked up over here. This is the purge and the vent gas connector, and there's a water flow switch. And the system also needs compressed air. And the purge gas would be dry nitrogen. The turbomolecular pump needs water cooling, and the turbo purge, dry nitrogen, could be connected over here. Also, the chamber purge is to be connected at the inlet of this solenoid valve.
Okay.
The system needs a 3-phase 208 main power inlet to the machine, and the main power switch and the pump switch on the front side of the system. This is pump power interface box. The main power is connected to this box, and the power to the machine and also to the pump are two outputs from this box. And there is a relay that is for pump feedback, and this is the main contactor, and this is the pump contactor. PC needs 110 or 115 volt AC. The PC is interfaced to the system. Interfaced to the system using a bulb connector and a 37-pin connector. This is for the analog inputs and outputs, and this is for digital inputs and outputs. Turbo pump controller placed over here, and the turbo turn on command comes from the machine as we proceed to operate the system with the PC. As soon as the system boots up, it comes with the operator login screen. You enter the password 3333, which is the administrator password. And then once you log in, there are hotkeys at the bottom of the screen. Systems status, right below the system status. This is the system on button, standby, ready, and then the process abort, and the step, hold, run, and alarm silence buttons. The menus include utilities, service, and display, process, and Windows. So unless the system is in standby, we cannot turn on the turbo pump. So in order to turn on the turbo pump, press Control F2 or use the mouse. And once the standby button is enabled, we can start pumping down the chamber using the turbo. The mechanical pump vacuum suction port is connected to the turbo roughing side. So as soon as we click on pump chamber, the throttle valve opens and the turbo starts to accelerate. There is the emergency stop button on the front of the machine. In case of emergency, hitting this stop key will turn off the system. And it will turn off pump as well and the main contactor in the interface box. In the service menu, in the maintenance screen, we can vent the chamber, close the gate valve, leak test the system, zero the manometers, and evacuate the gas lines and flow meter test. Once the turbo pump is at full speed and the normal operation LED is on, the turbo indication turns here green. In manual mode, you can change the gas flow rates, increase or decrease, and then select only the gases needed and click on gas on button. Will turn on the gas flow to the chamber. And to regulate the pressure, set the chamber pressure in millitorr to the desired value. And click on pressure on button. So at this moment the throttle valve will be regulated to increase or decrease the pressure to match the set value, which is 75 millitorr. Manually the RF power could be turned on after entering the set value here. And you can enter the time and then click RF on. There's a cooling fan in the unit to cool the automatic network. Turn on the matching network controller and the RF generator on. Right now, the RF is turned on manually. And the incident forward power is matching the set value, and the reflected power is 0. I'm going to turn off the RF. I'm going to run a process from the operator screen. Turn off the pressure controller. The chamber pressure will start dropping because there is no pressure regulation. and turn off the gases, and then exit the manual screen. Select in the process menu, you can load a recipe, build a new one, or edit an existing one, or delete or print a recipe if a printer is hooked up to the PC. I'm going to load a preloaded recipe here. Select that one. You can also edit the process if necessary. So this process recipe has 6 steps. Initial step, process stabilization is the second step. If you want to modify the step, click on the step or just enter it. Now the parameters can be changed, such as the gas flow rate in SCCM, and desired time, and our power values, and also the pressure could be set here. Once the process is loaded, you can go to the ready mode in order to run the recipe. Unless the system is in ready mode, you will not be able to run the recipe. To run the recipe, click Ctrl F7. Now here, certain information about each process run can be entered, such as lot number and the run identity. And any comments about the process? And the system proceeds to run the recipe. Right now the chamber is being pumped down by turbo, and the base pressure, desired base pressure is 10 millitorr, but it is well below that. And the gases are enabled, and the flow will be regulated, and also the pressure will be stabilized at the set point. And once the set points are reached, the timer will start counting. And after the timer is elapsed, the process will proceed to the step 3. Step 3 is another step of the process, just for pressure stabilization only. And this is the 4th step. Here the RF generator will be enabled, and the desired power will be given to the electrodes. is the final step of the process. And this is the purge step, where the chamber will be purged to a set point 50 millitorr, and the timer is set for about a minute. The timer will start counting down. At any point of time, if there is an alarm, the siren will start beeping. You can silence the alarm by clicking on this button, alarm silence button, and to clear the alarm condition, you have to click on hold button, and at any point of time you want to end a step and proceed to the next step, click on end step button, or if you want to abort the process, you can click on abort button over here. This is the sixth step, which is the step where the chamber is pumped down to the base pressure again for a desired time, so that all the gases in the chamber are evacuated and exhausted through the pump exhaust. That's the end of the process, and once we hear that, click OK, and the alarm is silenced to alert the operator. The turbo pump is not running anymore. That's indicated by the red color indication of the turbo pump. At this point, the chamber is being vented through this line indicated by the blue color. Once the chamber pressure reaches atmospheric pressure, we can open the chamber door. There are 4 mass flow controllers in the system. Each one of them is 0 to 200 SCCM rated, CHF3, CF4, sulfur hexafluoride, and oxygen. Now the chamber is at atmospheric pressure. Just for demonstration, I am loading a wafer, and in order to pump down this chamber, pull the chamber down with the handle here on the front, select utilities, and pump chamber. The chamber pumping will start in a second. The roughing opens first, and then the throttle valve opens, and the turbo pump starts to stabilize. The system is still in ready mode. Either you could proceed with the same recipe, or select another recipe from the process menu. Using load command. There are some pre-existing recipes on the system. And before using any recipes, I recommend to verify each step and proceed with it, or build the desired recipe to suit the process.